Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Jahaneman. And today we all are assembled here to discuss on the most important topic. In fact, that is not a topic, that is an issue. We have to think about the global concern, especially when it is related to education. What are the concerns? What are the challenges? And if we talk about the post-COVID era, it has become even more important to address them. And in this hall, we are going to listen to some of the very eminent scholars and the researchers and the speakers. Let me invite Dr. B. Ramanathan, who is here for his inaugural speech on the given theme that educational concern in the global context. Dr. Ramanathan is Managing Director of ACE International Singapore, and I am grateful for his gracious presence. Yes, Dr. Ram, over to you.
Good evening, all. Very wonderful time. Again, we are going to speak about the contribution of teachers to appreciate for their support for the youngsters as well as the futuristic value by the way of embedding the alignment along with the young minds to support for the future workforces. Myself, Dr. B. Ramanathan, I am the founder and managing director of ACE International Private Limited, Singapore. My main focus and concern is about the learning and development. That is going to change a lot in the coming days because of the pandemic situation. We cannot able to continue and sustain into the academic development where we have done something great in the earlier pandemic situation. That is the mitigation to the challenges we have to focus very well. And I can able to say the sustainable academic development have three major sections. The education, where the knowledge and the cultural exchange is happening, and the research, where the innovation, product development, and new conceptualization are getting emerged. The third one is entrepreneurship, where the business people exploiting the knowledge as well as the research innovation concepts, how to invest the money to generate some kind of wealth as well as business acumen. So these three are major components. We need to think about that. The next one is how do we empower the people? How do we empower the community with the different strategies? Without strategy, we cannot able to postulate anything. So our duty is we need to watch it and we need to cover with certain kind of elements in the ecosystem. The components are very, very important. As of now, the disruptive challenges are very high. Because of the digital transformational requirements, everywhere the people are struggling to cope up well with the digital transformational solutions. Ourselves also, just now we had the dialogue session about the people who join very comfortably or uncomfortably. So that is the way the teachers also having the hurdle. I wish to thank the teachers who are dedicating their time, not only for the sake of getting employment, but also they are showing case of the love and affection, as well as they are taking it as a passionate kind of aspects. If they don't show the passionate kind of things, they cannot able to relate to the students whatever they wanted to transform the knowledge, because the students are very naive minded. They don't have any focus. They are very playful around. They don't have the mindset to know about the risk, what would be after their educational system is going to make them the critical conditions to face. So the duty of the teacher is taking off away the conditions
Can't
they have
hear.
to, halfway they have to contribute something better with the
Reshma, please
parental
check
care.
your audio. Everybody is comfortable, I think. Dr. Ram's voice is audible. Yes, Dr. Ram, carry on.
Yes, thank you. So that is the way the parents are taking care of the students at home. But left over the time they are in the school, they are very much concerned with the teachers' control. The teachers are the second line of parents. They are taking care of the each and every student who wanted to learn and explore something better. They can easily identify. My teachers' friends usually mention about that. We are here to concern about the learners who are very meager attitude, who cannot able to sustain their learning behaviors. So they have to focus very well for those students who cannot able to meet up with the learning strategies very well. So that is the way the good teacher can able to tune well for those students who are not fast learners, but they can able to give more attention how to lift up their learning strategies into the next level. The school also taking very much care about the ecosystem comprised with teachers, students, and parents. This triangle system is going to contribute the great thing for the students who can learn and explore the possibility into the new workforce. So my concern is how do we able to embrace with the modern technical as well as technological sources and resources. The Ministry of Education have designed a lot and they have empowered the people who are aligning with this triangle circle. They are supporting for the teachers' requirement through the facilities and facilitation which are developed inside the school. The same way, the students also they have to get some kind of focused mind towards with their educational strategies, the roadmap where it would be making them to transform into the new workforce. That is the idea we must need to have. And especially, I wanted to mention one thing. Now the curricular things are not connected to the reality. So it is the duty we have to focus on the pedagogical learning pattern, how to address the value for those people who can catch over those kind of gaps. That is the way the applied learning program embedding with the STEM education. That is also one kind of focus. Many preschool as well as primary education and secondary education, they wanted to uplift this STEM education to fill up the gap, how to connect to the modern technical and technological resources to learn. The next one is andragogy, the adult and continuing learning, where the teachers and other professionals can learn and lift up certain kind of skill sets which are very much required. The workplace learning behaviors are very, very important. So we can able to tune up as per the organizational standards or requirements, how to lift up these kind of skill sets which are not available in the current working community. The third one is social learning. Like this, we can able to talk about many things. That is the pedagogy kind of thing. Peer learning, real-time learning, experiential learning, simulator learning. So many learning patterns we can able to adapt. That is the way now the integrated and the holistic way of approach by procuring the blended learning atmosphere. That is the combination of different learning strategies which are going to empower the particular learning system which are getting into the mindset of the people to cope up well. That we have to focus. The future educational system is going to change a lot by the way of procuring all these learning pattern. Now the Udemy, Coursera, EDX, and many more massive online open courseware are coming in the line. So the students are very much connected and contributed well towards the social media encourage. We have to embrace those kind of things also. How to nurture the young minds, how to focus for the futuristic things, because it is our duty. We have to give our concern, affection, love, and care as well as share, because they are all in the future manner they are going to take care of us. So we need to cultivate them. We need to take care of them to make them a better citizen for tomorrow. That is the way we can able to look into that. The educational reformation is comprising with all these kind of strategies which I have mentioned very shortly because of the time concern. Everyone will touch upon the conditions as well as situations as of now are futuristic values. Thank you, Dr. Halima, for giving this opportunity and make me as a keynote speaker. I am really privileged for that and honor for that. Thank you so much for this wonderful, eminent personality in front of me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ram. It was really an insightful presentation. And here I remember one couplet, very famous couplet in my mother tongue. जमहूरियत वो तर्ज हुकूमत है कि जिसमें बंदों को गिना करते हैं, तौला नहीं करते. Like in the democracy, we just count the people, we don't weigh the people. But here in this forum, we are going to weigh the people, you know, each and every one of us, whosoever is present in this meeting or in this conference, you represent an organization or many organizations. So here, whatever we are going to discuss is going to have lots of weightage, lots of importance, and lots of impact, because we all are the influencers, and we are going to influence many minds. So thank you very much, Dr. Ram. And from this platform, whatever you have conveyed, it will reach quite far. That I have firm belief in this. Now, this is the time when I'm going to invite a very successful professional, and I'm going to give a little introduction of our chief guest, Mr. Nara Subramanian. Mr. Nara Subramanian has to his credit of having been at the highest levels of management with some of the largest company in the world, having served them for more than 40 years. He now runs his own consultancy with the name Resolve Asia to support MSMEs and entrepreneurs. He is finance professional, a certified business coach, and a certified strategic sourcing professional. He is passionate about people, process, and performance, and is active in capacity and capability building, employee learning and development. He is a member of the Malaysian Association of Professional Speakers and sits on the boards of an established scholarship fund. He is also an advisor and program manager to some leading Malaysian universities. On behalf of all of us, I extend my warm welcome to the chief guest for this webinar, Mr. Nara Subramanian. Now over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Halima Sadia. Thank you so much. And my real pleasure to be here. And in fact, I'm actually so humbled and by your invitation. I'm truly honored to be among such a esteemed group of speakers and panelists. And in the spirit of Teachers' Day over the weekend, my greetings to all of you here today, and wish all all the best of blessings. And thank you, Dr. Ram. I think that was a very nice keynote. Lots of good points, and in fact, the topic itself is power packed, isn't it? It's all about educational reforms. So I was thinking, when you spoke to me about it, and I was thinking educational reforms. This is something which has been spoken about for decades, and so what are we here after? So for me, I come with a long exposure to the corporate world, and thank you, as you kindly read. And I've been at the back end of the receiving of the products of schools, colleges, and universities from all over the world. I was mentioning just now the last organization which I was with for the last 20 years, and we had huge establishments all over the world: Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, US, Italy, and in Malaysia. And the purpose of this to say was that we were working with people from all different cultures. And so if we say that the purpose of the school is to help grow adults, then it's a joint effort by all the players in this huge, not only the education location or respective countries, but how do we influence the education of those from other cultures? Otherwise, we will have a difficulty when we are looking for a cohesive workforce. So ultimately, we must say that education is the process of growing adults, so that children can actually learn and grow well to become productive members of society. Now, the question is, what do we actually want them to do while they are growing up? And finally, after they become adults, how do we expect them to contribute? So just now we heard that if we lost the connection to reality, education, we feel sometimes has lost the connection to reality. And how do we expect the the pedagogies that we have been talking about over the decades to still now come and transform students. So I always feel that reform itself is a continuing process. So the components of the process itself, we know it's the curriculum, the delivery, the testing, and the correction, and then finally repeating of the process. So way back long ago, Aristotle had said that we are what we repeatedly do. And excellence then is not an act, not a single act, but it's a habit. If we can all repeatedly teach the children, our children even, and give them the space and time to learn and create knowledge, because ultimately they are the producers of knowledge. Teachers are imparting the knowledge, but they need to create new knowledge, which whatever they have learned. Only then they will be ready for life. And for them to be ready for life, then they need to deal with all the challenges which life has to offer. Now, actually, we have shown that we can do it successfully. In fact, haven't we done it over the ages, over the centuries? We have been able to teach, transform children successfully over the years. Now, why are we still talking about reform? But reform is a continuing process. It's just like we say that when you buy a car, showroom, it's already lost 10-20% of the value. After we set up an education system, soon after that, it already becomes outdated. So it needs continuous reform. Now, all of us here, wonderful people, are certainly examples of, living examples of success. We have all come out through the hard way, we have learned, we have been taught, we have been educated, we have transformed, and we have become successful. So question is, are we satisfied with what we have been having? Are we satisfied with what we see? And are we satisfied with what we have now in terms of the educational process? Are we satisfied with all parts of the process? Maybe some parts of the process are working, maybe some parts are not working. So we do need to think of the whole process, because the process needs to change over a period of time. But maybe we don't have to change the entire process. We need to go and change what is not working. So what is it that it's not working? I think that is probably a bigger question that educational reform needs to fix. What part of the process are we trying to fix? Education reform, like we said, we have spoken for a very, very long time, not only on a local basis, but it's also being discussed on a global basis, because the world has become boundaryless for quite some time now. And I also think that it has been on the national political agenda for many, many decades. We have made significant progress, but perhaps we are not satisfied with what we have, and so we want more. The COVID-19 pandemic really created a huge dent, isn't it? It created a huge dent in many, many ways and means of personal as well as business life. It affected almost all the 7 billion people on earth. So education as an industry has been severely disrupted. The lockdown actually brought all education institutions to a grinding halt. They couldn't go to school, they couldn't go to the college or the university, and universities were stuck with buildings and systems. They forced almost 1.5 billion students from around the world to stay at home for many, many, many months. The industry and the profession is still struggling how to deploy distance learning solutions. It's still at a loss how to change the delivery models and understand the demand and supply constraints, and also rethink what to do when the crux of this pandemic is going to be over. In Malaysia, more than 90% of our 1 million business establishments comprise of medium and small and medium enterprises. Of that 90%, almost half, that is almost 400,000 have closed down over the last 18 months. Can you imagine 400,000 out of 1 million establishments have actually closed down? Many of us are still trying to find our ways in spite of the government pouring billions of dollars. How do we do this? So when we say reform is a continuous process, right? You can't just reform and then sit back. It's a dynamic process which encompasses the idea that all the small systematic changes to the standards which we produce significant returns in people's health, wealth, and well-being. That's what we are looking for. The key word in this definition just now we say is changes. I think the definition should be changed to say positive changes. We can't keep on thinking that we want to change the reform because we really don't know is it positive change or a negative change. You ask me as a whole from my corporate perspective and for all the other industry players whom we are working with, we have not seen enough positive changes coming out of whatever education reform even has taken place over the years. This is from my own experience, as I mentioned. We have not seen the ability of the employees coming into the workforce to be able to have creative thinking, problem-solving skills, the agility that we actually expect from them, quality of service, even the entrepreneurial thinking or the mindset. Pockets of here and there is not enough because we need a critical mass of such kind of transformation from the students. Now, it's highly likely that education was better delivered in the old days. Maybe many of you will believe that. In the old days, I felt that our education was much better. So what happened? Why is it that it's not being delivered in the same way? So of course, teachers change, systems change. Now is the best time, I think, to implement widespread educational reform. Why? I think this is the time for us to take advantage of the God-given opportunity to reset. The whole world has been reset, right? Now is a good time to go and relook at the entire process, reset whatever we need to do. Not only that, but take massive, widespread actions to implement those goals of changing public education for the better. Do all the brainstorming, do all the negotiating, do all the lobbying efforts to introduce the reforms that we actually want now. We will be doing a huge, big favor to the coming generations. Just imagine the move towards digital learning. We have the advent of IR 4.0, which was born exactly 10 years ago. In 2011 was when IR 4.0 was started. And we are still grappling with the paradigm of the digital shift from thought to action. Just now we spoke about trying to register and things like that. So we still haven't been able to get that fast enough. We have still not resolved the basic issues of remote learning. I think it's all over the world. It's not just here, such as internet bandwidth, lack of personal interaction between teacher and student. Whom do we blame for this? It's arguably an issue of the lack of reform. We need to blame parts of the government agencies who needs to get involved and give us the support that's needed for the reform. We need to remember that outside of the classroom, all learning losses will finally translate into greater long-term challenges. That's why the next generation is probably going to be affected already by this 1.5 years of lack of a proper, wholesome education. The reformers have been talking about changes in the form of input-output system and curriculum, and standards tied to tests and higher order thinking skills, etc. In Malaysia, we came up with a blueprint for the education blueprint from 2018 to 2025. I personally feel it's a beautiful document using UNESCO inputs and top-notch professionals, academicians, industry experts. Some of you have heard me saying this. I also feel the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We all want to change. We want to reform. The system still needs the influencers, the supporters. Just now, Dr. Halima was talking about the influencers. We need all of them. It's a comprehensive, integrated reform that needs to be done. We cannot do this just by a little small groups of us, because critical reforms need to be implemented and they need to be internalized. And we need to work together with various industry players who will ultimately become the consumers of the labor, just like I was for the last 20 years. And I do wish all of us who are in the part of the reform process, I do wish us all the best. We do need to be positive. We do need to think that it's going to work, and we wish all the best. So, Dr. Halima, thank you so much for this opportunity for me to share some thoughts and some words. And I do hope it has been of some value to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Awesome, awesome. give a big round of applause to Mr. Nara Subramaniam.
Thank you.
And it was really spoken from the heart that has already gone to our hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. And now our next speaker is the person who has served in the Indian Army for 38 years and superannuated in May 2013. During his service, he held important command, and he was now he has started one initiative. Actually, I am just leaving something, but I'm going to highlight his latest initiative. So his latest initiative is that he has started working as motivational speaker and sharing his experiences. Now his mission is on shaping the future with a focus on the youth and the next generation of leaders. And even after that also, he has started one more initiative with the name of Thoughts. And Thoughts is a platform where we all have to polish our speaking skills, public speaking skills, with the intention of participating in TED Talk. So I think by this time you all must have guessed that I'm talking about none other than Lieutenant General Anil Malik ji. A big round of applause for Lieutenant General Anil Malik. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Halima. What a pleasure being here to listen to such profound views from Dr. Ram, Mr. Nara Subramaniam. It's always very inspiring to hear him. And not only that, I'm amazed to be part of this forum where there are so many educationists, academicians, people who've really been committed to the education system, who've understood the wherewithal. So for a layman like me to try and comment on education and education system as I understand it is a little difficult, but then let me try and make an attempt. You know, just this morning somebody sent me a WhatsApp message that was a cartoon. So I was delighted that it's come on the right day when I'm going to be speaking on a subject like this. It said that mom tore off the electrical engineering degree of our son because he could not repair the fan in the house. Okay, amusing, but then that's what the ground reality is.
True.
My concern has been there for ages. First, as a parent, I used to be concerned that my son, he works from day to night. But what has he really picked up? Is it that he is going to be, he may at the end of it, he became a top-notch lawyer. I can second that. But his second son, he was so confused. He said, all this education, whether I should become a lawyer, should I become a doctor, should I become an engineer? Today, I want to work on becoming an engineer. Maybe 2 years down the line, I don't want to be an engineer. So does the education system, did it offer him those opportunities? Did it give him that wherewithal that he could switch sides? So he decided to become an entrepreneur and decided to make an app, which he's still working on. But that notwithstanding, I realized that there is something amiss. When I was trying to get into the armed forces in the mid-60s, I remember that I attempted to go through an examination which Colonel Aditya will be able to tell you more about, and that was the entrance examination conducted by the UPSC in India for entry into the National Defense Academy. It's one of the premier training institutions. I went about that examination on 3 times, and all 3 times I failed in the mathematics examination. And the mathematics examination had everything. It had trigonometry, it had calculus, it had some more of the geometry as part of the paper. As I finally managed to break that barrier, and I joined through another training institution called the Indian Military Academy. But and that after going through about 6 months of mathematics tuition. So after going through that mathematics tuition, I was able to pass that examination. But throughout my service, I never understood why were they torturing me by putting me through an examination which meant nothing to me the rest of my life. Why did not I, okay, they could have tested me in general awareness. They could have tested me in spoken language, whether Hindi, English, whatever they wanted. But why were they torturing me with this system? And I never understood. Even when I was fortunate to be in the hierarchy many years later, and I would question them, and I had a long discussion with the chairman of the Union Public Service Commission. He wouldn't relent. He said, "You don't understand ke mathematics kitna zaruri hai." So I said, "Bhai sahab, mere ko 40 saal aur abhi uske baad bhi mere ko it's been 8 years. Abhi still abhi samajh nahi aaya." So my concern is that is this education system structured to bring out the best in the child? The system of education should be such, it brings out the best in the child, not what you want to bring out. There are so many skills we have over the years in India, and I'm sure other countries. All of you have been Malaysia, Singapore. I've had the fortune of traveling to Malaysia for long sessions and army-to-army dialogues. Singapore also. You looked at some of these things much before we started. We started this program called Skill Development. We have a huge ministry here in Delhi, which looks after Ministry of Skill Development. After 3 meetings, as an individual, firstly, they were very reluctant to share with me as to what they were doing about skill development. Maybe they thought it was some secret program that was to be launched soon. And, but finally, I did manage to get 1 or 2 meetings with them. I realized that themselves were not clear on what skills they want to teach. My other concern, which some of you may have heard me speak earlier also, is on character building. I am producing top-notch lawyers. I produce top-notch engineers. I produce the best doctors in the world. India, people come for what is called medical tourism to get themselves operated in India because we have the best doctors in the world. Have you seen that doctor, the way he talks to that patient? Are those sound character qualities that are required to possess? My concern is we need to shape them. When I talked about, Dr. Halima mentioned about this program called Shaping the Future. Teach the children how to face the realities of the real world. The real world is different. It is frightening. When a child steps out of school or college, he goes in for a job. He doesn't understand what he's going to be facing. We need to look into these small little aspects which will give them that thing. You step out of the house, there's a road rage. He walks into a corporate office, there's a rat race. And any other hours that you can think of are there in real life. Are we giving them that? I'll go back to a few years. I was in a country called Zambia. Dark continent, poor people. They don't know where the next meal is going to come from. But I was amazed to see the way they dress up, the pride they take in their profession. A young boy who used to come and work in my garden, he would, when he reached the house, he used to be wearing a proper suit with a tie. His shoes were spick and span polished. He would come, change into his overall, work for the day, have a bath, dress up again, and go home. With due apologies to one of the largest democracies in the world, I've yet to see this in India. anybody so committed to the work. I used to drive my son to the school. The scene at the school was that when there was a driveway and there was an in gate and out gate. As you came to the center of that place, you found that the principal and all the teachers of the school were there standing to receive the children, whether they were coming in buses or cars or whatever it was. And the way the children were embraced, the way they were greeted when they entered the school, built in them that affection for school, that built in them that affection for education. I know for my child was very unhappy that why so-and-so day the school was closed, because he wanted to get back to school. I came back to India. I tried to get admission for my son in a school in Delhi, various places. Finally, I had to put him in the National Open School to get educated. Because when I wanted to meet the principal of the school, the principal would not even allow me at the entry to the gate. I knew I was a reasonably senior army officer. That's another subject which we'll talk about some other day. But the fact of the matter is that our education system needs to be more structured. It needs to give us the ability to enhance our potential, to bring out our best. Let's not only put in physics, chemistry, mathematics, open your brain and pour it down every morning. Let them make thinking individuals, make good citizens. Good citizens are going to make great countries. Good lawyers, good engineers, good doctors are not going to make great countries. We have seen the mess all of us have made of this world. Today we are seeing what is happening all over the world. And mind you, they are the top-notch people in the world who are controlling these things. So there is something missing. And my final thought is, what is missing is good character qualities. We are not teaching them the ground realities. They step out of classes. They don't know what to do next. Thank you, Dr. Halima. Always a pleasure to be part of such forums, but I hope I haven't ruffled any feathers, but being a non-academic man, these are what I feel needs to be looked at. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. A big round of applause for Lieutenant General Ali Malik Sahab. And whatever he has experienced as a parent, that was very important to know. Because in the school, the stakeholders like the students, teachers, parents, and the community all have to be heard. Otherwise, in most of the cases, the principals, they think that whatever they are doing is the best. So that, and I don't know why in a school system, the principal is always overvalued and over highlighted and overemphasized. I have also enjoyed that position. That's why I can say that although the hard work will be a teamwork, but it will be the principal who is always going to eat the cream. So thank you very much, Anil Malik Sahab, for bringing those crucial facts about our education system into light. And now the gentleman whom I'm going to invite is an engineer by profession, and he's a chairman of Azam Welfare and Educational Trust. And he's the chairman of Hera Public School in Azamgarh. Although he is settled in Malaysia and he would have enjoyed the luxurious life there, but he thought of serving his nation and he has started helping the underprivileged children in his hometown in Azamgarh. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Engineer Tariq Azam Sahab from Malaysia. Tariq Azam Sahab, over to you. Please, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Good afternoon, everybody. Malaysia is almost going to be start of night. Sorry, Halima, I didn't think that I'm going to speak in this one. I thought I'm going to be a listener only. But no mind, since you have asked me to, I will see what I can recollect at my age. I graduated from IIT Madras 1974 and did my master's in Asian Institute of Technology in Bangkok. And it so happened that I married a Malaysian lady and came to visit Malaysia. I was charmed by this country and became a Malaysian. But even after becoming a Malaysian, the Indian soil is so rich and so it can't let you go so easily. So during some visits to my native place, I was asked to help a local madrasa, which was in dire situation. And it started, the story started from there. And finally, now I have a secondary school, English medium, ICSE board. And this year, the first high school students sat for the exams. This is a work of last 12 to 15 years. So I spent half my time there, half here. Basically, this webinar is about educational reforms. As three previous speakers, especially Nara, has said that reform in education or reform in anything is a continuous process. Really, it doesn't. If the moment it stops means something is wrong, because time changes, new generations come, their needs are different, their times are different, and you need different parameters, different criteria. So it must be a continuous process. And this particular time, last decade of last 2 years, have been, I mean, everybody is really at the end, their wits' end, what to do, especially with respect to education. We are all confined to our houses. We are doing online education. And suddenly we are unable to have physical contacts, and nobody can explain how do we teach children and how do children learn without physical interaction with teachers and with their own friends, with other students. Because education is not just learning, reading, writing, and arithmetic, the 3 R's, but it is learning the social skills, how to behave as a community, how to behave as a group, how to respect among us those who are not so well off, who are not so endowed. So that social skill and social cohesion cannot be taught on an online class. And this pandemic situation which we are going through, which has still not ended, probably is still going to take some good 6 months or a year to put it behind. And who says this will not come back after another 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years down the line? So definitely we need to think about it and bring the reforms, as our military friend, Mr. Hani Malik was just now mentioning. I am also of the very much the same opinion that education is not about just teaching how to do mathematics, how to do science, how to read and write, but it is more to be how to be a good human being, how to be a good member of society, how to learn so many other skills which are needed by the society, which are needed by the community. And everybody is endowed with different capacity, different capabilities. God has not, in his infinite mercy, he has given different things to different people. There's a very famous cartoon, I'm sure everybody would have seen that. They line up different animals, rabbits, elephants, monkeys, goats, donkeys, and the competition, there's a competition among them, and they said whoever can climb the tree, he wins the trophy. So of course, monkey will win because that is a part of his nature. But elephant will really struggle, you know. So that's how the human beings are. We are all different. We have different endowment, different nature. And so the first thing of education, of course, education system must have the very basics, reading capacity. You see, we are speaking here in the context of our developing societies like India, Malaysia, Asian countries, and also in the context of education technology, which is being spread throughout the education system. So I just keep that in mind, that we are just about maybe a generation ago, about 20 years ago, we were talking about literacy rates in our countries. India still is probably in the 80s, if I'm not wrong, around 80% or between 80 and 90 somewhere. Malaysia achieved 100% maybe 20, 30 years ago. But a lot of other countries which is still struggling between 60s and 70s and 80% of literacy. And when we say literacy, they mean they can write their names, they're considered literate, you know. That is one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is today technology is changing so fast that you don't really know what jobs are going to be available 10 years from now, 15 years from now, what jobs will be there in the market for students to apply. And if you don't know what jobs are going to be there, how do you educate your children to look for those jobs or to fit those jobs? Tell me. So what should the education be? Should I teach, should he learn electrical engineer when the engineering, when there is not going to be any electrical engineering jobs? Or should we teach him space science, which we think will be available? So I think that the first reform should be that we should prepare him with the education system, which will equip him to be flexible, to face all these challenges. Whatever jobs come, he should be able to fit himself. That means, what does that mean? What does that imply? How can he fit? That means his basic communication skills, basic arithmetical skills, basic language skill, which is same as probably overlapping with the communication skills, computational skills, that means technological skills, and social skills.
Tariq Sahab, last 1 minute. Tariq Sahab, last 1 minute.
Okay. Sorry, the subject is so close to my heart, and so this thing that sometimes I can't hold it. But I will say that the most important element, most important cog in the whole wheel actually is the teacher. And we need to prepare our teachers for this task, which I am really very disappointed, because with my experience last 15 years in India especially, that our teachers are very poorly trained, very poorly motivated, and very poorly paid, especially in India, which are all three are interconnected. So thank you very much, Halima. I hope I have done justice to my 7 minutes, and it was nice to be in company of such nice people, learned people. Thank you very much. And Nara, Mr. Nara, I will definitely see you in Subang Jaya. Please send me your phone number. I think you have my number there in the form which I sent just now.
Certainly. I look forward to that, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Tariq Azam Sahab. And it is right that the teachers are very poorly motivated and very poorly qualified, or maybe I can say the class management. But your assessment about the poorly paid has there is a vast difference in the payment. There are teachers who are earning more than 1 lakh rupees, and there are teachers who are working for just 2,000 rupees. So
Yes.
there is a vast
Those are the one I meant.
Yes. So, and yes, of course, whether they are earning 1 lakh or 75,000 or 2,000 or 5,000, motivation level is at the same.
Yes,
Even the
very,
high
very
teachers
true,
also are
very
not
true.
motivated to learn new things. There is a mental block, and we have to work about that. Thank you very much, Tariq Azam Saab. Now, may I request Madam Aruna Singh ji to kindly speak a few golden words about this topic, the educational reform, and who else can highlight these concerns better than an educationist who is in this field for the last 4 decades. So over to you, Madam Aruna Singh ji.
Good evening, all of you. Very good evening. Thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Halima. And yes, as Sir has just said, and I had always been apprehensive about, what we are going to see in coming 15 to 20 years, because the world is changing at such a fast pace. I'm not sure about whether we will be able to actually foresee what is going to come to us. Because if we look behind us, 10 years back, we never knew that a mobile would be doing so much of work that we are doing today with. So we just cannot comprehend what is going to come next. And yes, another very, very big issue is training the teachers and motivating them. I think India is actually lagging back quite a bit in this area. I think if this can be the next agenda to be picked up, and if all of us can do something in this area, I think it would be a great thing. And yeah, that is what I would like to say, because I have started doing this, and I want all of you to be proactive in this, that let us train the teachers to be more empathetic, more sympathetic, and not only curriculum oriented teachers, because curriculum can be done by the students also if they want to do it. And if maybe they may not score 98%, but they would certainly score 78%. So that's not a big deal. But yes, learning many other things, what a teacher can give, and what we had learned from our teachers, I think that is way behind now. And we really, really need to work upon that. And these days, it's very saddening to see teachers coming in with degrees, B.Ed degrees, without going to a college. I think many of you know about this. Right, if they have not been to an institute to learn their B.Ed, learn how to teach, how are they going to do justice with the children, except for doing the curriculum? So my humble request is, let us train the teachers. Thank you so much, Halima.
But, we can provide water, but we cannot pour water into the mouth. That they only have to do. Lots of platforms are available. And we are motivating them, we are guiding them, and lots of them are doing also, but still we have to go a long way. Yes, Aruna ma'am?
I agree with you over here. I myself have
So let's move, and I would like to invite Narendra Singh ji, who is a motivational, who is also having a defense background and a great motivational speaker and employment coach. Over to you, Narendra Singh ji.
Thank you very much, Dr. Halima. See, I am a technocrat, purely an engineer.
Oh.
And I've been with the defense, and more than that, 22 years I have been with the corporate and the academics. Almost all major universities, IITs in India, and as well as all other countries. Asia Pacific as well as the Middle East, Europe and US. See, why I came into this domain, because I have felt a lot. Whatever Dr. Ram, Naraji, Lieutenant General Anil Malik, Tariq ji, whatever they have covered, actually how we are preparing people to be ready for the real world. Today in our country, especially after seeing everywhere the education system, I have come to some of the findings. We need lot of reforms in our country. Many times I have sent some letters, some mail, some messages to PMO in past this several years. And I was very happy when this Sarada Prasad committee was formed in 2016, which has recommended for this new education system. And I felt very good when it was announced, at least if not now, in next 10 years, 15 years, system will change, because what we got it was a ready-made inherited system. Just get the number, that is the focus. We are not preparing anyone. I have seen people going even from IIT, doing MTech from IIT and struggling in the job because somehow they got the job. Now it becomes, I have been talking to the US people, very senior people, those who are as senior as Lieutenant General Malik and even more, 65s, and in that age group, 70s, 75. And they have explained me, which is known as the baby boomer generation in US. So they said that, in those days, it was pretty much like, your country now, high inflation and more people are involved with the agriculture, all those things there used to be up to World War and up to 50s. In those days, they said it was not much difference. But one generation, men and women, both together, they have worked very hard. Earlier, there also only men used to work. So that was the secret, that everybody has to take responsibility, actually. If we keep on blaming only on the system, let us see some improvement has come, new education system has come, it is in the global, this thing, but impact is not going to be immediate. So what I am doing, I am helping a lot of people now. I have been helping during this tenure with the corporate at various places. I have helped maybe in hundreds of the people. I have guided them for a better career, how to deal. Even see, in everywhere, wherever we go, we have to deal with the people. Anywhere, whatever we do. And the interpersonal skills, how to talk, how to deal, itself is not taught anywhere. And we know, each one of us know that everybody is different. But we are always expecting others to behave like us, to work as we think is right. So we are unwilling to accept the other point of view once the nature has created everybody different. Everybody cannot behave. So we have to learn that how to deal with the people. So self-management, team management, and boss management. These are not taught, and these are the most essential part for any profession, job, business of the life, we can say. So each one of us, those who are aware, I'm very happy here, the people, those who are there, they are contributing a lot to the society, to the nation, to the humanity. And I feel very honored to be part of this. And definitely, in my view, each one of us should take little bit more proactive actions and contribute whatever we can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your passion was quite obvious, the way you have spoken and the way you have expressed yourself. And this is only possible from a person who is the man of action, the person who himself is doing at grassroots level. And that is Mr. Narendra Singh Ji. Thank you very much for being with us this evening. And now I would like to invite Miss Sabina, who is an educationist and a trainer. And now he is going to highlight about the global reform that is required in the field of education. Yes, Sabina, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honor to be on this platform with all the stalwarts. And Dr. Halima, if I can have the screen rights, please.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really honored to be here, and I've picked up a lot of points which are amazing, and the chain of thought that is passing through each one of us is really to say that we all share a common concern here. So today I just want to, as a teacher, as an educator, I would say that we are, 1 minute, just give me a minute. Can you see the screen?
Yes, it's visible.
So yeah, we're talking about educational reforms, and many of you all have brought out lovely points. You know, I would like to bring Dr. Ram's point, connection to reality is something that caught me on. Nara sir, your productive, making, you know, children the productive members of the society. And then Malik sir, your skill development, character building, which is again, which is so important, and making children, making our students as thinking individuals of the society. Tariq sir brought out the flexibility. Why is it so important that, you know, we change our mindset and, you know, make it a not rigid, but make children flexible in their thinking. Professor Aruna, you have brought out how important it is to train teachers, and trust me, it is so important. And of course, Narinder sir again spoke about skills, skill development, and how their social skills, personal development skills are so important. And today I want to bring in a little insight on the 21st century skills. This is not a new topic to any one of you. We all are aware of it. But the need of the hour is teachers understanding the 21st century skills. How much? I would like to just bring out an incident which happened recently in my school. I mean, before the pandemic, of course. It was a school in Seoul, South Korea, sent us a recommendation form where our parents were moving to Seoul, and they wanted a few assessment criteria, as most of the international schools do in the UAE, all over the world. So they, as a customary, they wanted us to fill out a form recommendation, and one of the parameter, when the teacher brought it to sign to me, you know, I just happened to go through the parameters, and I realized that a 6-year-old has been asked to be assessed on critical thinking skills. So I was like amazed, and the best part or the worst part was that the teacher had given the child excellent in critical thinking skills. That really brought to me a few, I called the teacher and I asked them, you know, can you, asked her, can you justify how you have given critical, excellent for a 6-year-old for critical thinking skills? And the question that came to my mind was, is a skill like critical skill, thinking skill expected from a 5 or a 6-year-old? Okay, that was the first thing that came. The second thought was, are our teachers aware of what are critical thinking skills? Are they able to provide the environment for these little ones, you know, to promote these skills? Also, are teachers aware as to how to assess these skills? And last not but the least, can we give a grading to a 6-year-old as excellent critical thinking skills? So that gave me a lot of thing, and I started doing my research on this point. And so we basically live in an age where there are certain skills that have been identified as a 21st century skills, right? And I don't need to go through this. I'm just saying that these are what are required in our in the world today. Okay, and today critical thinking skills are a part of the assessment criteria. So how are we going to make our teachers aware to implement them? You know, it's a worldwide skill. So what do we do and how do we go about? So what is critical thinking? We all know it. I don't need to do it. I'm not going to go into the definition because of lack of time, but this is what the internet generally says. It's quite a definition with a lot of big words, and it goes above my head too. So in simple terms, it's just being non-judgmental, avoiding a narrow view of the world, to observe, rationalize, try and understand is what we are looking at, right? These are what exactly are critical thinking skills. So how do we do it? And here, it's a very important skill today, right? And we have people from the world, the defense, the entrepreneurs, you know, people from management on this platform. And you know how important it is when we, it is something that is needed all around the world. And the ability to think critically is more important now than it ever has been. Everything is at risk. That's what they say. And if people cannot think critically, he explains, they not only lessen their prospects of climbing the ladder in their respective industries, and the red flag here is they also become easily susceptible to things like fraud and manipulation, which we know happens in every industry today, right? So what are we looking at? How do we do this? As I was doing a lot of research, I came across this few skills that few points from this particular university. And there are the 6 steps which are very, very simple, and how we can train our teachers to identify and help them out in the classrooms. So I started doing the sessions with the teachers, and I thought I would like to share it with you all. It's very simple, and I'm not going to go in detail. You all can always look it up. But these are the things first to identification, how to do it, who is doing what. All these things are very, very important for a teacher to understand what critical thinking skills are. So the first step is identification of the problem. And every day we have opportunities in the classroom for every teacher to actually understand what, for these kind of things to bring it out. Next is, of course, the research part. What exactly is research? How to go about with the research part is very important. Research is just not going and, I have a long way to go where research is concerned. I've just started. But teachers understanding the magnanimity of how research to be done is so important, to verify, to evaluate, to analyze. All these things need to be trained to our teachers. How to do it, of course, it's again, develop an eye for unsourced claims, and, whatever it is that we need to look at is also very important. What are considered to be red flags? So, I'm not going in detail here, but this is again very, very important for teachers to keep in mind. Identifying biases. We get so biased. It's any person can do it, and how we are going to go about with it is so important for teachers to understand. Next is how to do it. Challenging yourself to identify the evidence and all that, whether it's religious, gender, community. We get biased very easily, especially in a country like India. We are so where religion is considered to be very important. And gender, again, Dr. Halima was just saying about how the women are expected to be in the kitchen at this time, So how do we go about breaking this mindset, breaking this bias is, again, needs to be looked out, and teachers need to understand this. Inference, reading between lines. Again, this is a skill that is needed so important for every situation and every, everywhere. We tend to take things literally, but how do we, train teachers to understand, and in turn, teachers train children to understand, to infer, to get this kind of a skill in the classrooms is again very, very vital, I feel. How teachers can do it. Making a conscious effort to gather as much as information, not just, believing, seeing is believing, but going into the root cause.
I wanted to have full presentation, but we have time constraints.
I know. I'm done. Almost done. Fifth point is the determining relevance. These steps are very easy. You can find out how relevant things are. And of course, curiosity is so important, because without curiosity, we cannot do anything. So these are the few things I feel, teachers need to understand, and we need to keep an open mind where critical thinking is concerned, for others' thoughts, bringing in the problem solving, reasoning, evaluation, all these things. And that's where we need to train the teachers, and hope we can bring this kind of thinking in the classrooms, so that our children in turn can go out in the world and be a part of the real world and connect reality, be productive citizens. And that's it. That's from my side. Thank you.
Wow, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you very much, Sabina. It was really very informative, and it was really well presented. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing with us. And now we have the second last speaker for this evening, Fatima Zoina Mohammed from UAE. Zoina, 5 minutes for you, my dear. Please unmute.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's really a great honor being here in a platform where all of the great people are here. And today's topic. Learning with emotions is my perspective towards today's topic. Dr. Halima Sadia, Dr. Ramanathan, Dr. Nara Subramaniam, Sir Anil Malik, Tariq Azam sir, and all the rest of the delegates who have spoken before me has already contributed so well towards this. As a teacher myself in UAE, handling emotions, catering through them, and gently bringing in education, supporting their needs is the key towards successful learning. Well, many of us teachers are highly qualified and love to teach. But if the children have the choice to choose the teacher, will they choose us? Lately, homeschooling has become a trend, all thanks to the pandemic situation. As an educator, I'm in sync with many parents who are seeking for educators to teach their children for specific subjects. And during the trial class, the only thing which makes the child to sit in front of a screen for hours is a teacher who can make a difference, who is able to connect with the child, to be heard, and believe me, only then a child will retain what they learn. And it's mostly about having another person willing to trust you as a child, as and in your abilities, right? Being a grown-up, I find it difficult to sit in front of a screen if I don't like my lecturers. Well, today's lecturers were awesome. I mean, I take it as a lecturer because it's a learning platform for me. So imagine being a child, right? I don't consider myself to be an amazing teacher because I believe it's an ongoing process. But I tried, of course. In an early years background, I have witnessed picking up a simple artwork from looking at it with an excitement in front of a student who drew it, and I admire it, and hanging it on the bulletin board has changed a lower achiever into a successful learner. Especially when having an inclusion class, the sensitivity towards emotions matters the most. Feeling their need of building trust and self-confidence is first. Following their own pace towards learning, and obviously the subject knowledge is crucial, or we may end up damaging the child even more, right? So yes, along with the belief, we need to have the qualifications and the knowledge and also lots of patience. Well, we as teachers face many difficulties too. Some of us are experienced, still do not hold the required paper qualifications. So the society loses many valuable teachers this way. And then again, in the other hand, we have inexperienced teachers with so much potentials and passion, grit, dedication towards the teaching. They hold, they hold in their hands the qualifications, and yet many placements happens due to reference as family members or known people to the organization, especially when it comes to early learning stages, because that's where people have the mindset that, half the people, sadly, more than half of the generation thinks that, okay, it is early years, so anyone can teach the ABCs. Well, it's not just the ABCs. Not anyone can teach that early years. That is where a child's belief is a belief in himself and self-confidence. All sorts of skills are triggered. If the triggering doesn't occur at that stage, that is where children fall behind in their learning and in themselves as a character or a person as well. Well, Sir Anil Malik said a line which caught my concern about where attitude building, how it matters. Implementation of learning is what matters the most. I have heard you speak before too, sir. With all due respect, I really enjoy listening to your lectures before as well. Well, Tariq Azam sir has spoken so well about all aspects where it affects education and the teachers. Thank God for a handful of organizations and platforms such as Jahan-e-Man and Dr. Halima Sadia. We get the opportunity as educators to get motivated and feel appreciated. Well, Mr. Arun Singh has spoken about how we can make an actual change in educational by joining hands. Miss Aruna Singh, sorry. So joining hands to make a difference, to train teachers well. I don't know much, but if I can extend a support, well, definitely please count me in, ma'am. And Mr. Narendra Singh's passion of work was shown in his way of
Zoina,
speaking.
darling, today your responsibility is not vote of thanks. It was
Yes,
yesterday.
definitely. No, I'm ending my speech, so that's okay. So, Ms. Sabina, we were having realistic benchmarks when assessing young children. Once again, bring the need of grooming teachers and today's education. It's a privilege being here and listening and learning from every one of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
ma'am.
Ms. Zoina. It was really a wonderful conclusion. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to introduce a gentleman whom I have seen climbing the ladders day by day. And you all must be happy to know that here 5 of us are from the same group, that is TTOT. And that is a common factor of 5 of us to be here in this forum. And I have not seen anyone improving as much as Colonel Aditya Singh ji. So Colonel Aditya Singh ji, Singhal, in fact. Colonel Aditya Singhal ji, over to you, please.
Thank you, Dr. Halima. Thank you very much for your kind words. And it is really a great honor to be here in front of this August gathering. So I will not take much of your time because most of the things are covered. I would only emphasize on certain things which my predecessors, the speakers, has spoken. First would be the point which was brought out by Tariq Azam Saab regarding teachers, that they in our country especially, I don't know about the other countries, in our country our teachers are the most I would say most underpaid, and most exploited lot. And this has see, if we see the last 1.5 years while we were struggling with this pandemic, along with the COVID warriors, everybody was appreciating the doctors and nurses and the paramedical staff. Only other category of people who are working day and night and struggling to manage the teaching as well as their home were the teachers. Why I'm saying so? Because my wife herself is an educator like you, and I've seen firsthand how they were like when the things started, COVID hit us, and schools were shut down. Then they said that we should start the classes. They had to first learn the technology. They did not have computers, they did not have laptops. So some schools were kind enough to provide them with the equipment, but it was a big struggle, and nobody knew what to be done. So all the schools or every institute was experimenting with new technology, and every second day that the goalpost used to change for the teachers. So today you are learning WebEx, then next day you come to Microsoft Teams, then you come to Zoom, then you come to another platform, and so it was very difficult for them to catch up with the technology. In addition, they were also supposed to give value to the children. And on the other side, you had the parents who were after the teachers that the schools are not providing them the correct education. So it was a uphill task for them. And this is the main reason. If our country as such looks after our teachers, we say that teachers are the future. They shape the future of the country, but they are not getting the due respect in our society and the country. That is one thing. If that part has been looked after, a lot of things will be taken care of. Second issue which was brought out by General Malik was about the character building. So I am reminded of a quotation which we use. I was posted with a National Cadet Corps, and our motto was "Nation first, character must." That was what we used to emphasize on each and every cadet. And there were times wherein it was right now in National Cadet Corps is an optional subject. So there were talks of making it a compulsory subject in schools and colleges, and wherein it is given the same weightage as subjects like physics, chemistry, and math. So if we actually implement what we are talking about right now, what is happening is our decision makers are not walking their talk. We have heard about the new education policy, which talks about skill development and trying to do things so that that gap between the education and the corporate sector is reduced. But I have my doubts, because right now, if you see, our children are forced to run a rat race wherein the focus is only on getting marks. And even if you get 100% marks also, there's no guarantee that you will get the required subject in your graduation in the desired college you want to. So these are certain things which need to be addressed first before we move on to other part. And also, as somebody had mentioned about, Savina ji mentioned about the approach to training. That again is a critical thinking. So we are right now, whether it is schools or college, even higher education institution, there is no focus on critical thinking. It is all rote-based thing. In fact, I was reading an article a few days back in Times of India, wherein it was mentioned that during COVID, though the intellectual integrity has taken a blow because of the system which we are being forced to follow. And as a result, we are all struggling, and I hope that this will improve in the next few years once the COVID situation improves. And that is all I have to say right now, because I am not an expert in the education, but what I have seen and what I've experienced from others, I'm talking from that point of view. But yes, nation character building, making our children how to be a responsible citizen, that also is a very, very important part which will make a difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everyone. And now the last, although Anil Malik ji wanted to share 1 minute. So let me just give him the chance to share for 1 minute. And then I'm going to give concluding remarks for 2 minutes. And then this meeting is going to be over. Yes, Anil Malik ji.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Halima. Sorry to be delaying everyone, particularly the ladies, like they said, dinner has got to be cooked. Okay. But notwithstanding that, just wanted to emphasize what Dr. Aruna said, and some of the other members also spoke about, that we are not sure what the future is going to unfold 20 years from now. But that doesn't mean we go crazy on, we pick up a subject and go mad about it. And the example is management schools. In a stretch of 2 kilometers, there are 5 management schools in the city. I have personally seen that. I interacted with them. In the past 3 years, they had not been able to get a single job for their students. Okay. Because we went crazy because IIM came up and everybody got, oh, he's drawing 1 crore rupees, he's drawing 5 crore rupees. That's not it. So we have to be very careful when we are unfolding the future. Let's not pick up one aspect and now suddenly race towards that. Okay, that's one point. 2, I want to once again emphasize, I remember my teachers in school. Okay, I still love my teachers. They taught me so much. So the fault is not the teachers. The fault is the system. That system which expects you to produce what Aditya said, 99.99% marks. Cut off in St. Stephen's College in Delhi is some 99.6 English. I think this is all rubbish. The teachers are doing a great job and we are very, very grateful to them. We need to reform the system. Make sure that teachers also are given the wherewithal to teach the children. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Colonel General Anil Malik ji. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since we have come to the end of today's this webinar, educational reforms in the global context, I have not spoken about this topic. Why? Because I firmly believe action speaks louder than words. So today, in this forum, we are going to think that how we are going to bring a single reform in our surroundings, in our schools, in our people, whomsoever we are associated with. Now you all must be thinking, oh, I am individual. What can I do? It's not possible that alone I can do the things. But think, somewhere in the past or somewhere in the future, whenever any reform will come or whenever any reform has come, that has started first from a single person. ऐसा तो नहीं होता ना कि कई दिमाग एक साथ बैठते हैं और तब सोचते हैं, फिर पांचों मिलकर के एक आइडिया ले आते हैं. कहीं ना कहीं तो उसकी बीज किसी एक के दिमाग में होती है. Any one person has that seed, and then he has to give that idea to another person for nurturing, and then third person for further nurturing, and then fourth person for further nurturing, and in this way the idea is matured. So I am requesting you all that kindly let us be together and let us think of any one way where we find that there is a change required, there is a reform required, and what contribution I can do in that. In fact, from this platform, I was planning to have a competition on 5th October, that is International Teachers' Day. But instead of having the competition of teaching methodology or teaching lessons or lesson plans, now I am thinking that this reform or this idea, bringing the idea forward is far better than having any teaching methodology into the light. So please, let's sit together again, and we are going to sit again on 5th October with our innovative ideas, or maybe one single idea that during this period of time, during 1 month, I have tried to bring this change, to bring this reform in myself, in my spouse, in my family, in my teacher, in my surrounding. As far as education is concerned, education doesn't mean inside the school or the college or university, but education means home education as well, home environment if I have changed. So that is also a sort of attempt from our side. For that reason, I have given a link here. If you can all please fill the link, I will be grateful so that next time I can remind you. I know that since many of you were not reminded in between, so it has gone in the background. And today when you received the invitation, most of you were like, oh, this is today. Then I said, yes, you have filled the form. But anyway, today's session was really wonderful session. So many wonderful ideas, bright ideas have come into the forum, and the video will be shared with you all, because when we are in the forum, we are more thinking about what I am going to speak, how I am going to speak. So that's why at times we are not very careful in listening to others. But I request that when video is shared, please watch it, listen it carefully, because I can say that personally, I have seen each one of you speaking to the point and with lots of passion and with lots of concern. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you on 5th October in the same platform to motivate million teachers. Thank you. May God bless you.
Dr. Halima, you sound like Rani of Jhansi, you know, the way you...
I think every woman is one.
झांसी की मैं रानी हूँ, रजिया की बहन हूँ, सर पे मेरे आंचल है, अलम लेके खड़ी हूँ, कब रोक सके मेरे अज़ाइम को है तूफान, और क्या है, हिंद की मैं बेटी हूँ और अलम लेके खड़ी हूँ. Yes. So I am an Indian.
God bless.
Dr. Halima,
Well
you need to translate that for me.
Oh, sorry, sorry, Mr. Nara. It says that I am the daughter of Jhansi Ki Rani. I am the sister of Razia Sultan, and I am the daughter of this soil. That's why I am covering my head, but I have a flag in my hand to lead the nation.
All right, wonderful.
Amen.
Wonderful.
Thank you,
Nicely
thank you
said.
very much, everyone. Take care, and thank you, each one of you, for your precious time. And a token of appreciation from Jahaneman will be shared with you all to your personal mails. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Halima. I
Dr.
think
Halima.
every time we are here and we get motivated, and we are very happy sharing our thoughts on these platforms. And thank you so much for creating this platform first thing.
Thank you.
Stay
Thank you.
blessed.
It's my honor that so many people are here appreciating me and motivating me. Thank you. God bless.